Hey, what's going on, family? So check this out. Today's message is just going to be a message of hope. I wanted to get on here to encourage some of you all. I know I haven't been on here in a while. As you can see, my background is completely different. Those of you who have been following me for a while, um, a lot has changed, right? Um, a lot of stuff that I had been working for has come into fruition. So, you know, still putting in that work and still kind of going through that, I believe it's that transformation as you kind of transition on over fully to that next phase of what we like to call that promised land, right? So, it's the land that's overflowing with milk and honey. But you're going to need it. You're going to need some of that milk and honey. Wipe off some of them dust, wipe off some of that dust and help with some of them scars and them bruises. But all in good fun. So, like I said, this is a message of hope. I know that sometimes when we're going through life and life seems to just be happening to us, right? Like we are unable to gain control. And when we're out there busy living, we tend to forget that the things and the choices that we make, they matter. We get so caught up in the moment that we just kind of forget that tomorrow will come, right? And then the next day will also come. So many of us lived or are currently living in this state of just kind of like, I don't want to say necessarily like a perpetual survival mode, but it's just like or do or die, but it's just like, live for the day, right? Like carpe diem or YOLO, whatever term you want to utilize, which just basically means live for the day. And that's all right and all, and it's cool, but it's also important that while you're living for that day, you're also doing things to prepare you for tomorrow because tomorrow will come. It may not come for you, but what if it does? What is the likelihood of tomorrow not coming for you? Most people that tomorrow doesn't come for, a lot of people are unaware. The person that's diligently thinking that, and not to say that that doesn't happen, right? Not just what I'm talking about is nothing is it's not absolute, but you get the point or the gist of it, right? It's just like, you also want to make sure that you're doing things to prepare you for tomorrow so that you can have a better future and that you're not making decisions that are going to harm you or hurt you in your future. You don't want to get to the point where you're done living life and you done all these things and you're enjoying yourself, right? You've enjoyed yourself, but you made a lot of choices. You made a lot of bad decisions that you were on the road to getting to where you're at now. You were planning on getting those things taken care of. You were planning on paying that debt off. You were planning on buying this house. You was planning on doing these things, but somehow, some kind of way, life just got in the way. And what happens is now that you're here, now that what you've been working toward, what you've been wanting to attain is here, you have all this host of bad life decisions and life choices that you have made that have now came to bite you in the behind. And universe, source, the father, whatever you want to call him, y'all know what I call him, most high Yahweh, else, whatever name you want to say that represents the most high, Holy One of Israel. And it's, the King, Yeshua, the Holy Spirit, all those things, but Yeshua. But anyways, you don't even realize how they were trying to help you along your journey. Like they were sending you funds to pay this off, sending you funds to pay that off. You squandered it before and you swear you're gonna do better. You swear you're gonna do the right thing. And in your heart you thought that, but then it comes and then Or even when you know you're going to do the right thing, the enemy comes and does something to just knock you off track, or does something so that the money doesn't even touch your hands, right? So you don't even get an opportunity to do right, right? Because the enemy comes and just, he's like, oh, okay, you're listening now. You didn't got it. So now I'm gonna throw something your way that's gonna knock you off of it, that's gonna deter it, so the money won't even get into your hands. You will see it, do, but it's gonna come. Literally, the money will drop into your account, and then the enemy come and snatch it right out, right? And the enemy will get you so fixated on your ego, and sometimes the enemy could be your own thoughts. You'll be so fixated on wanting things done this particular way that you're so full of your ego that you won't even allow yourself the opportunity to step out of your own way. But then when you get down to the bottom of it, it's not even really just your ego, it's just your fear, because you know that you have made so many mistakes, and you know the thing that they're asking you to do will put you in a situation to where you are going to possibly be rejected. For me, it was banks. Terrible. Early 2000s when you was writing checks, man, terrible, just terrible teenager with a bank account, and just terrible. I'm talking about, this was during the days of Wachovia, Washington Mutual, and telling my age, but these if anybody was around that age, around that time frame, you already know these little banks was popping up, offering out this and offering out that. Ooh, man, we used to have this thing called telechecks. Man, man, I tell you. Woo. I don't think people even really write checks like that anymore. But them checks used to get you caught up, man. Them checks used to get you caught up with a class. What was it, a class C, or was it a B or A? I can't remember. It was one of them little low misdemeanors. Woo! And you don't even must be trying to write a hot check. It just it happens, and you plan on having the money in the account. You plan on, but you get to work, they get the peeing you off, then you get the tripping. Next thing you know, shoot, you didn't mess around and got fired, or you didn't mess around and quit. And next thing you know, shoot, the money that was supposed to hit your account, you needed to get you through to your next check when you find a new job. So it's like, listen, so I definitely have lived and made, choices. And so I say all that to say, eventually those things catch up with you. And you would think that, oh man, don't nobody even write checks anymore. I didn't got a bank account here at this bank, and one of the top banks, so I'm good. I didn't got a bank in this particular neighborhood. They didn't gave me an account. I'm doing good. I'm not even worried about that. And you just don't even realize that those decisions, they catch back up with you. And it's like, it doesn't affect you then, but it impacts you when you're actually spiritually awoke, and or spiritually awake, and you're now you're actually doing things that are aligned with your purpose, and you're trying to live out your best life. And because you made these poor decisions, they come back to bite you, and you're forced to just sit there and look at yourself and look at the decisions that you've made. And life is forcing you to handle and take care of the things that you said you were going to take care of, right? So it's important that in this season of life, maybe if you're watching this video, you may be in the midst of making those decisions, making those choices, or you may be on a side that I'm on, where you're just like, man, if I had known now what I knew then, if I had known then what I knew now, my apologies, my life would be completely different. Either way it goes. If you're in that decision, if you're in that phase of life where you're faced with making all these different decisions and you're just young or older and you're just living life, not caring, no regrets, take the time to stop and think about it and just know that where you're at right now is not where you're going to always be. I know how tempting it is and how the enemy will like you to want to believe that that's the case. But often, more times than not, you're going to live and you're going to get older and you're going to want to do some things. And you are going to want to be the greatest version of yourself. And the last thing that you would want, the last thing that I would want for you is to get to where you want to be at. And the very thing that stops you from achieving that goal right when you want to is you. Not you now, but you, the old you. That old version of yourself. Right? And you have to eventually lay that version of yourself down so that the new version of you can come about. Right? And I know it's hard for some of you to hear this, and it's just, it is, and it's harder for those, even harder for those that have made those decisions. And now we're looking like, why is this happening? You know, I'm listening now. Can you provide me what you did before? Universe, source, Father, you know, can you do this for me? Can you do it for me again? Can I'm listening now, please. And it's like the prodigal son. You know, it's like I'm ready to come back home, and except for this time, you may or you may not get that robe. You know, you may or may not get. You may or may not. And you'll get it, but it's going to look different, right? It's not going to look the same. You'll get it, but you'll have to work for it. It's not going to come as easy as it did before, because when it was given to you easily, you didn't appreciate it. You may say, well, that's not fair because I didn't even know. But deep down inside, if you really take the time to pay attention to how you are feeling and listening to that voice within, you will know. You will know. But what happens is that you choose your pride. You choose vengeance. You choose anger. You choose whatever it is that you choose that's outside of the one you should have been choosing, which is universe, source, you know, the power, whatever you want to call it. You know, I call them Yahweh. Anything other than him is what you chose. And anything outside of your divine, supporting your divine entity is death. It's no good. So, and now you're probably saying, so what are you saying, Dwayne? Are you saying that this is all our fault? Like we should hold ourselves accountable because this is really just our fault? You know, just think of angel number 911. You have to take accountability for yourselves. And you have to know how to just let go of the past. But in order for you to let go of the past, you must first accept the past. And you must first accept your part in it, right? And what you did to cultivate or co-create or create the past that you currently have in order for you to be able to move forward to this next phase of life. I know I kind of did it topsy-turvy, did a back way, right? To just kind of tell you what resonates most with me with that number right now at this particular time as we're kind of transitioning and we're doing all these transformations and things of that nature. So I just kind of wanted you all to see things from a different perspective. But do you see how if I had told you what this video was going to be about in the beginning, how it wouldn't have hit as well as it did? It wouldn't have really just kind of made as much sense as it did, because you were kind of giving it, you know, it was handed to you. So you would have just been like, oh, okay, yeah. I was expecting it. But because you had to just kind of sit and listen and get this far and kind of work through it or wade through it, when you got it, you was like, oh. And some may say, why would you just told me that from the beginning? I would have, if I had told you that from the beginning, that was the purpose. I didn't want you to say, well, I would have got this, I would have done this. The purpose for you is to sit down, relax, and enjoy the process and trust the process, because it is a process. I love you all, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care for now.